You ready?
Yep.
Welcome back. In this final module of the Lead Magnet docuseries, Cameron and I want to take a look forward as to, where we are today and what the potential next steps for this project might be. We have built the Lead Magnet. It's a PDF download, the language of automation. We have built the ad set that is promoting it. And then, of course, those leads are being captured into our CRM, which we use Keep as ours, but you can insert your system of choice. And then the automation goes to work guiding those individuals towards a purchase. We actually already have one conversion. They didn't buy the flagship course that we expected. Instead, they joined our membership. But we know that we have a longer customer lifetime value for those members. So we're just as happy with that conversion as we might have been for a course conversion. And we expect I think the number is 46, of the 46 leads that we have already collected, the automation will continue to convert those people. And we have opportunities there to improve that conversion over time. So Cam,
47, because we've been in this meeting for a little while together.
Well. There you go. That's, I think, part of the fun of running a business is, when you have projects like this in the works, is refreshing those stats to see the numbers climb as the automation goes to work and does its thing. So what I would love to just discuss here, as briefly as makes sense, is like the potential next steps forward. Because if this is working, conceivably, we could just let it run. Right? Or we could, maybe dial the budget up, but we could just let it go as it is. But there are always opportunities to refine it further. And so I wanted to talk with you about, are there opportunities you want to take advantage of to create a second version of this project? Maybe improving the ads or the audience or the optimization of the automation that delivers it? Or do we move forward and just launch other lead magnets or, try a different strategy for capturing leads? Or do we, where do we go from here? So I'll leave it open-ended like that. And maybe we can start with some ideas or brainstorming.
It's probably a little bit of all of it, but not all of it at the same time because, we don't have the budget, time, energy probably to do it all at once, but it's probably all of that. I think one of the things retrospectively that I learned through this project too, and should have known, but it was interesting to see it in real life, is that the performance of the ads and the delay before the first conversion was long, right? We're only 3.5 weeks into running these ads right now, but everything out of our control still takes a little bit longer to start getting there with. So one, I'm happy to keep these ads going. If I was forced to make a decision 5 days into this campaign about whether we were going to run it for 6 months, I don't think I'd be comfortable doing that.
Sure.
But at this point, I think, the cost per lead feels very, very reasonable.
Yeah.
But what doesn't feel reasonable yet, and might get there over time as the system continues learning, is the cost of that sale, that cost per conversion, right? So if I had to pick something for us to work on next, I would think that now working on the nurture and offer, right? If our nurture and offer was working really well, how do we do more lead magnets and get more leads in or dial up the spending on this one? If we've proven that, with each passing week, Meta is doing a better job driving traffic to us, that feels comfortable for a little while. Now let's see what we can do to make sure people are actually downloading the lead magnet that's being emailed to them, and then are enjoying that multi-week nurture that comes afterwards. So I think we could stay the course on ads is one of the decisions to be made, and I'm pretty confident with the one of staying the course. I think putting energy into the next step, the next hurdle of nurture and conversion, I think is probably what's most worth our time. And the third is that, I don't think that creating another new lead magnet is the most important thing today. I think that turning this into a methodology, like turning this into a document and a playbook, kind of like how we're creating courses, could also exist for how we create our next launch or our next lead magnet. Those are the three that I don't know if you want to unpack those at all, but those are the three that I came into this with.
No, that's exactly aligned with what I wanted to share. And I realized I sort of misled our audience here. I said, what do we want to do for version 2? But the truth is, we are already on version 2. So one like trend that we identified was that of the leads we were collecting with this ad set, we noticed there are 3 email attempts delivering the PDF. And the open percentage on email 1 is 30%. The open percentage on email 2 and email 3 was 19% and then 18%. And the click percentage was, in each case, about half of that, but also similarly waning. And those are lower percentages than we see generally across the MonkeyPod automations. And that was curious because if these leads just signed up, we would expect them to immediately open that email and immediately download the thing that they just requested, right? That initial juncture should be the point of maximum engagement. So to see lower open and lower click percentages was a little concerning. So one change that we have already implemented in this process was we added a custom thank you page after the lead signs up. And on that custom thank you page, we included a video where we introduce ourselves, we tell them to go to their inbox, and we tell them the specific subject line to look for, right? Hey, that first email should already be there. Look for this subject line and check your spam folder, check your junk folder, right? Cameron and I have done all of the email authentication, boxes that you need to check. But even so, sometimes that first piece of communication doesn't wind up in their primary inbox. So we wanted to take an extra step to tell people what to look for and encourage them to go find it. So that change was implemented just a few days ago, but I expect those open and click percentages to both rise dramatically, and hopefully the results from those emails will as well down the road. But I just wanted to call that out because sometimes your ads might be working just fine, but if the communications, if the automation isn't being seen, then it doesn't matter how compelling your messaging is, people won't be able to take you up on whatever that next offer is. So we have already executed some changes to further refine this process and hopefully clean up the conversion. But I want to encourage you to just be graceful with yourself or gracious with yourself if you don't get it right the first time, right? The important thing is to make progress in whatever imperfect fashion it shows up and be willing to iterate on that as you learn the lessons that the data will be telling you as you go. So I think that's my key takeaway here is this feels good about where we are at. And there are other opportunities in our business to explore. So we just need to make a strategic decision as to where our time and energy is best spent in terms of, maximizing the impact it creates for our bottom line. But as Cameron pointed out, we feel fine about the cost of acquisition for these leads, and we can always drive that down. And we feel fine about the less fine, but we feel okay about the cost of conversion for those leads because we know the customer lifetime value of the one conversion we have seen. And as additional leads can convert, the cost of conversion will go down because that budget will be divided among those new customers that we are seeing show up there. So Cam, I feel pretty good about where things are at. I think we have no shortage of opportunities moving forward, and I hope that there are lessons here that can serve our audience. I have some parting words of advice, but I wanted to invite you to share any last perspectives or suggestions for our audience as they move forward with this information as well. Anything you want to make sure that people hear?
I would say that I found it worthwhile. I think that I've been in masterminds before with business owners who don't have enough leads coming into their business, and some smart person in the room will say, create a lead magnet and pay for ads, right? Well, you don't have enough leads. What are you doing to get leads? And so while I've been in lots of events and courses and experiences where people will give that kind of advice to get into it and just do it, it feels like we're still on the journey. Of course, we need to make sure that more people convert, but it feels very worthwhile to have encapsulated this into a project with with definition, with budget, do it, and see it come to life. So I think my parting word is that it feels worthwhile, and what more could I hope for?
Yeah, I think that's exactly it, is that it feels worthwhile because it is worthwhile. We built something that we are proud of, but we also ran into the reconciliation of what we built wasn't for the people that we already had in our audience. And so that left us with, well, how do we find the people who it is for? And the answer was creating something that fed the appetite for the audience that we wanted to serve. And so I hope that anyone who's taken the time to watch this can see some parallels between our project here and their own businesses. And we would love to hear from you if you see an opportunity and decide to go chase it and capitalize on it. If you launch a new lead magnet, or you refine your existing one, or you change your ad strategy, right? If this project and watching this series of videos compelled you to take action in your business, please take just a moment to either drop a comment below or to reach out to Cameron or myself and share your story with us, because as small business owners, as automation enthusiasts and advocates, we just love hearing those stories, and there's no shortage of examples for how these types of projects can create a meaningful impact for businesses like ours and hopefully like yours. I think that is it. Thank you so much for spending time with us. Cam, I'm grateful for our partnership on this, and for everyone who took the time to support it by sharing, watching, liking, or telling others about this process. Take care, everyone.